I'm now on the Jaguar Enthusiasts Club stand with Paul Weiss. Good afternoon, Paul, and welcome to the Classic and Restoration Show 2019.
Good afternoon to you too. Yeah, it's very nice to be here. A lot of cool stuff around.
And you take part in the British GT in a Jaguar F-Type, supported by the Invictus Games. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, and also the Jaguar Enthusiasts Club are one of our sponsors this year, so they're helping get us on track. And you know, it's come from a lot of people over the last couple of years. It was the brainchild of James and Charlotte Holder. They actually got the idea running, and here we are, and I'm about to start a second season.
So can I just have a little bit of history on you? You joined as a Marine in 2000 when you were 16, is that correct?
Yeah, so I joined the Royal Marines in 2000 at the age of 16, and I actually did 16 years all in the Corps, but unfortunately my active service was cut short in 2011 when I was hit by an improvised explosive device.
So how did you get from there then into motorsport?
So I first started off into any sort of sport after I was injured, doing adaptive sports in the Invictus Games. So I competed in 2014 with 2 legs, 2016 with 1 leg, but I was a new amputee then. So I'm always very goal driven. So what I want to do is set myself targets that I have to beat to keep myself competitive, just the person I am. So when I tried out for the 17 games in Toronto, I was a fully fledged amputee then, so it was always going to be my last game, so I was the wrong side of 30, get a bit rounder as well. So that was always my goal, so I trained really hard for it, and when I went to trials for the 17 games, I absolutely smashed all the competition out, literally out the water in the pool, cycling, even with guys with 2 legs I was going quicker than, and I didn't get selected. And that was a huge blow for me because, as I said, I'm very goal driven, and I think through my competitive nature of being a Marine,
a bit of a knockback really.
Yeah, I don't deal well. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have one. So through all the things I've been through, my default setting is to turn to booze. So I wouldn't say I was right down in the pits of despair, but I was definitely on the downward spiral when I was told about an opportunity to try out. It was literally a multi-skills driving day, if you like, provided by Mission Motorsport, the Forces Motorsport charity. So I went up there literally just for something to do. So I took part in car control, skid pan, dual control cars, and even a lap around the track. And what I didn't know was this was a sort of precursor selection for possibly a couple of guys to drive in the British GT series. All this was going on in the background. So as soon as I got into a car, I've never been in a car my entire life on track, I loved it instantly. I loved it, and I was half decent at it as well. So then eventually I was selected to take part in the programme, and obviously because I had 0 experience racing, I had to get my international C licence, which meant going up through the licences. So my first ever race was in a Mark 1 Mazda MX-5, brilliant machines. Yeah. And then I progressed up to Lotus Elises, Lotus Cup, and then more Mazda racing, even a Honda CR-V people carrier around Castle Combe Circuit.
So what period was this you were doing all these different races?
So my first ever race was the Race of Remembrance in the November, and I was on the British GT grid in June. So in 5 months I went from a Mark 1 Mazda to a British GT.
That's amazing.
You could say the learning curve was quite quick. Yeah. So it was just amazing, because I was driving all sorts of vehicles, but I didn't actually get into the GT car until probably, I think it was the May. So about 4 weeks before I was actually meant to race it, and I'd been in a lot of low-powered cars before them. And my first ever outlap at Silverstone in national pits, I went across the finish line backwards. So it was a really steep learning curve, and the first year was always about learning and development, both as ourselves as drivers and also the car. Obviously, Jaguar for years and years and years have produced great production cars, but they haven't produced race cars. And so, working alongside David Appleby Engineering and the guys from SVO and Jaguar, we were trying to get together the best package we could for the first season. We had a lot of reliability issues, but hopefully, fingers crossed, a lot of them are sorted now. Pre-season's gone really well. We've got one more week left in Spa next week. Fly out on Monday morning, early hours, and then we'll see where we're at for the start of the season.
So there's 3 of you in the team, isn't there?
Yes, 3 drivers for our car. So we have Steve McCulley, who's an ex-Royal Marine Major as well, and Matt George. So Matt George is our pro. And so the way we're going to be working the season is me and Steve are going to alternate which races we do. We literally knocked it up on the back of a fag packet, flipped a coin. We both wanted to do Spa, we both wanted to do Silverstone. I did Spa last year. Again, it was another mechanical failure, the engine blew up. I did Silverstone as well last year, but we blew up after 2 laps last year. So Steve started the season, Alton Park, and then I'm doing the next 3 rounds, and then Steve jumps back in at Spa. And then on to Brands, Steve's doing as well, and then me and Steve together are finishing the season at Donington, so that'll be pretty cool.
You said that you've done 2 tests, have you? They've gone quite well, have they?
We've done a lot of testing, so we started 4 weeks ago, I think. So we started off a couple of days at Snetterton, then Alton Park, we've been Brands Hatch, Donington again, Donington Media Day, Silverstone. So we are getting about a bit. We need to, because the guys at David Appy Engineering have brought so many new parts to the car now, and trying to develop it. Even little tiny things like the cooling things, to put in like donkey dicks, on the edge of the airflows and stuff to make everything work better. And so we're just trying all this out all the time, both for car and driver development.
And what about the championship? Realistically, can you win it in your class?
So, in class, there's every chance. Because Steve's had 4 years in catering racing before he came over to the Jag project. So he's already, I'm about a second behind Steve at the moment. So I'm getting there. So I'm obviously just took me black cross off the back of the car as a novice. So, but I think we've got a chance. Reliability will play a big factor. We've got arguably the best pro on the grid, so that's always handy to have. Who knows? I'm quietly optimistic. I don't want to shout about it too much, but I think we'll definitely get some pots this year.
It's a fantastic story, Paul. I mean, you're very inspirational, and if people see this video and they've had life-changing injuries, maybe they'll get some inspiration from this interview. And you?
Well, I don't profess to be anything but just a normal guy going about his daily business. I think what happened to me, I don't want to be defined by that, because it was a long time ago now, but what it has done, I'm not going to lie, it's opened up a lot of doors for me. And doors being open is all well and good. You've actually got to go through them and make the most of the opportunities you're given. So when you've been killed, you sort of take life a little more seriously now. So I just don't let anything pass me by. Don't be afraid to fail. Try everything once. Failure is just another route to success.
Well, I wish you all the luck with the season. I hope it goes well. I hope you get that class win. And thank you very much for the interview, Paul. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Paul. That's great. Thank you. Yeah.